You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Palace of Mega Pencils. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo!
Hello and welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, is my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Happy Monday, an hour later.
An hour later. What is this bullshit? I'm saying it because, all right, look, I understand we've done this all of our lives.
All of our lives.
So it shouldn't be a big deal. But for some reason, it's gotten a bigger deal the older I've gotten. Like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. It's stupid.
Leave me alone. We created the light bulb.
Yeah,
We're fine. Let's move on.
And what's funny is I've heard arguments regarding daylight savings time being permanent or standard time being permanent. And to my understanding, daylight savings time is a detriment to our health.
Oh, is it now?
Yes. Like, that extra hour, our bodies are now having to readjust to this pattern that we've been in, and it causes shorter lifespans. These are studies that have been done by biologists, scientists, all these people.
So quit messing with our internal clock.
So yes, stop doing the daylight savings time and stick to standard time. Mm-hmm. Because you're getting the same amount of day no matter what. Yeah. Okay? It doesn't change the fact of how, it's just what hour you want the sun to be out.
Sure.
And that makes no damn sense to me. Christ, when we were up in Ohio, the sun was out at 9.
9!
9!
Oh, that was crazy to me. I'm like 9 p.m. and it's still this bright outside.
Yes.
What is happening?
It's insane. Okay? I don't understand it. But
you EST people really get a longer, or it feels like it, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But
you're probably darker earlier, but
the shift in when the sun is out doesn't change when you have to go to bed, when you have to get up the next day. Your work schedule doesn't shift. Your school schedule doesn't shift. Nothing changes. Just the time. Yeah. So I'm frustrated by it because you know what I've been loving the last couple of weeks? Daylight. When I'm up in the morning, when I'm going to work, I can see the
we
the
were
world.
the opposite. Because like when I went, when I was still serving or whatever, I didn't have to be at work until 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So I loved it because then I could actually see on my way to work.
And I get
it was
that.
always dark when I went to work. So I get it, though. I get it.
Yeah.
It's dark when you're leaving and it sucks.
Mm-hmm. So regardless, the sun will be going down at a normal time, about 7 o'clock, if we stick to standard. And that's okay because for me, I'm at home. I'm relaxed. I'm not going anywhere. Now. Okay? Another hour saying it's going to be 8 o'clock before it gets dark, I could give a damn. It doesn't bother me. And no one's listening. They want to keep this time the standard.
22 states, I think, are actively putting bills forward to stop doing it. I just, nothing moves quickly in the system.
I know.
And then I guess you probably have to think places like Indiana that has both.
Yeah, true.
Like, how would that screw people up? Like,
I know.
What if you worked in the other time zone, but it's like literally across the street? I don't know.
No, I get it. I mean, it makes no sense because it should be a standard time that we're all following. Mm-hmm. Not this, well, we're going to do it this way, or we're going to do it that way, whatever the stupid nonsense may be. We're one of the states that have passed a bill to standardize this time.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
The daylight savings time?
Why? Because we're stupid. I mean, it's not like...
I don't know that I care which one. I just want you to pick it and let's stick with it already at this point. Like, just pick one and stop making me lose an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, let's just gain it and move on with our lives.
That's
how I look at it. Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I'm so tired of it. Anyway, I don't want to go off. I've already ranted enough.
No, I agree. Let's get rid of it. Kids can still see with light bulbs by bus stops. Thank you. That's my PSA.
So I wanted to bring up 2 recommendations, and then I want to talk about 2 things that happened during the week because I feel like I'm trying to manage, because I don't know time-wise. I don't want people to be here 2 hours and 30 minutes, like, whatever. So
Unless you want to be.
Unless you want to be.
You know.
We try to be respectful, but, we
try to keep it under 2.
We try. It's not easy. But first of all, I really want to bring this up, and it may not be everyone's cup of tea, which I understand, but keep in mind, it's not necessarily my cup of tea normally, but I was really impressed by this. I would recommend, if you have Peacock, to go check out Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Okay?
Okay.
I have never really been, like, the Shrek movies, the first one was, it was entertaining, and then it just kind of got, they were exhausting to me. Because it was just like, hey, look at all, it was like pop culture. Look at all the pop culture references we're throwing in. Look at it. And honestly, if you look at this stretch, and I was thinking about this, I think last night, like from 2000 to 2010, maybe a little longer, maybe extended on both ends one way or the other, there was this trope where everything had to be like, throw in as many pop culture references into your comedy as you can and make it funny. That's why those parody movies got on my nerves so bad, because that's all they were.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
all the Scream offshoot parody movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it was it was nothing but, how many pop culture references can we shove into one scene? And it was like, oh my God. Like, I tried to watch, it was the one that was kind of the 300 spoof movie. I can't remember what the hell it was.
Oh.
Doesn't matter.
I don't remember. There was so many in that chunk of time. It got a little out of control.
And I know someone's probably telling me the title. I don't care. I don't care.
Wasn't there one just Scary Movie?
Yeah, Scary Movie. That's what started it. That's what kind of kicked it off. And then it just got it got worse from that point on.
Yeah.
And it's almost like those little, you had one movie that kind of did it right. And then everyone else said, we need to do that, but bigger. And then just did not understand the concept of what you were doing and just completely ruined it. Because the one that was the 300 spinoff, I tried watching it, and within the first 10 to 15 minutes, I shut it off because it was like, you are cramming so much into this scene. And it's absolutely for no other reason than just to try and make a joke. It was like they were this is Sparta kick into the pit. And it was just like they were bringing out one pop culture reference after another just to be kicked in.
They were kicking in the pit.
Yeah, and it was just like, what does this have to do with anything? It did. This serves no
you
purpose.
Got the reference, right? So it's funny.
No, it wasn't funny. I wasn't laughing. But anyway, long way around to say that, like, when they did the spinoff of the first movie, it was like, I couldn't even tell you shit about it. It was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. This, it's like they finally learned a lesson. So let's tell a genuine story with the character. Put all the pop culture references aside. We may make a reference or two here and there to Shrek characters, but it serves the purpose of the story. It's not just for, hey, look at the cameo, ha ha ha. It actually had a purpose, and it served a joke, and you're like, oh, that's funny, that's cool. It was really good. I was really impressed.
All right.
Like,
I don't have Peacock, but it might come to something else.
If it comes to something at some point, just like I said, I was genuinely impressed how good the story was, and just overall performances, because it's a solid film, and a great twist to the character, kind of building off his bravado about, I am the great Puss in Boots, but what happens when you kind of take that from him? And now he has to think, well, who am I really? Yeah. And just explore that. And it was way too damn good for what people would consider.
It sounds like it cuts deep.
It does. It really does.
I have to think.
Very emotional at times. So I'm just like, holy shit. I mean, so it's, I won't say that you're going to be just weeping the entire time or anything like that.
Yeah, because it was like, me and feelings. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No.
But no, I'd heard good things about it, and that's why I was willing to give it a shot. But I thought, well, how good could it be? I would watch it again. I really would.
Okay.
So,
Noted.
just check it out if you would. Another one, and we had spoken about this, and I don't want to talk too much about it since you're probably not all the way through it, but History of the World Part 2 on Hulu.
Yeah.
Check that out. You've got some of the greatest comedy minds kind of involved, along with Mel Brooks.
Right? Yeah.
And
first thing I had to check was make sure he was still involved, for sure.
Now, how far did you get into the show?
I think I got 2 episodes in, because I'll admit I didn't do a whole lot of research into it when I heard that it was coming. So I was thinking it was maybe another hour-and-a-half movie.
Yeah.
So when I sat down and saw all the parts, I was not prepared. I didn't, I wasn't prepped for that. So I only got through a couple of them, and then we'll probably get through some more, today and later on or whatever. But first one, though, I mean, all of the callbacks was just kind of nuts, I don't know. How do you feel about him making a part 2? I'm so torn, because part of the joke of part 1 was that there was never going to be a part 2. So I'm really torn on how I feel about it. Although it was good, though.
I think it's fun just to kind of explore it through a new lens, because it's not just Mel Brooks. I mean, you've got all these other people kind of involved in the writing process. So, I mean, he's the spearhead of it all, but you have other comedy minds who have their input. And I honestly feel like that's either works to its strengths or its detriment. It depends on what side of the fence you're on, because as I watched it, there were certain sketches that I liked more than others. Like when you see it, because a lot of them they extend. So you have it's almost like they said, well, we're going to do this one long story, but we're going to break it up between all the episodes. So you get a snippet here, snippet there. And then they'll even kind of change the perspective in which they're telling the story, which I think is kind of cool.
That's kind of how the OG movie went.
Sure,
I mean, it wasn't one through line, really. It was just like, here's what I think happened with the 10, 15 commandments. Or the,
right, exactly. So at times, I guess you're looking at certain sketches and you're excited because you're like, oh yeah, this is the one I was enjoying, and then they'll come back around to another. You're like, okay, but it doesn't really take you out. And I wouldn't say that there was just one that I absolutely loathe. It's just you realize the one you're getting more enjoyment from out of another, and you're just like, oh, okay. And then they'll throw in a few randoms here and there that are just for shits and giggles. My all-time favorite out of the bunch, because I actually, when we were done, I was thinking about it, so we went back and just rewatched that one bit, and I laughed twice as hard the second time around. I don't know why shit was so funny to me, but it was, I think it was in episode 2, Taika Waititi as Sigmund Freud, and this, it was just something so, like he was supposed to be doing a master class, and he just kept messing up, and then suddenly it devolved into drug use, and just like, man, this shit's gonna fuck you up, bro. And it's just, I don't know why. It was so ludicrous in all the right ways that it just cracked me up so hard.
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean, from what I did see, I would have to say that I wasn't sure how it was going to feel. I mean, we're talking 81 to now, because like that movie is old, it still felt like putting on like an old pair of shoes, a comfy pair of shoes. Like the first couple episodes, I felt that formula. Yeah. In HD, of course, but I could definitely feel the inspiration was pulled from it. So it made me feel a lot better about it, because I go into it like, I don't know. Yeah. Why are you going to mess with something like that, in my opinion? But yeah, when I felt like, okay, it's following it. And the couple of things I was kind of hoping we would touch on from the original movie, they did. And so it was great when I was just like, yes. Yeah. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the first movie. Right. Because it's really good.
And it's on Hulu right now, so you can watch it for free.
Go catch up before you see the new one if you would like. I mean, there's no like through line, so you're not going to be lost if you watch one over the other. But why not? Go see what inspired it all from the great minds of the Brooks and his clan that he would drag with him everywhere.
And I don't know why it tickles me so, but I get such enjoyment out of Nick Kroll's little voice when he's like, "Oh my goodness, what is going on here with the schmears and whatnot?"
I did skip the singing. Sorry, I still can't do it.
I figured you would.
I can't do it. It went too long. I was giving him a little bit, and then Hubs and I both looked at each other. I'm like, we're about over the song now, right? And he's like, yeah. And so we skipped through. I tried. I gave it longer. Hey, I didn't. I gave the first movie, I gave his Inquisition song the whole thing. I didn't skip it. So at least give me that much.
Okay, fair enough.
The Spanish Inquisition song, I listened to it. You know, they had a lot more going on.
They did.
In the background and stuff that I was paying attention to. Because with his movies and stuff, you got to pay attention to the whole thing that's going on. There might be some stuff going on in the background that's like hilarious, but you know, you got to pay attention to it. I don't know.
Yeah, there were a lot of really good callbacks, as you mentioned, and as you go along, you'll see other little Brooksisms, if you will, that they kind of pepper in through. It's like
walk like this.
Yeah. If you don't know who Mel Brooks is,
sorry.
Yeah.
Walk this way is the joke.
I would hope. I would say our primary audience that I know is listening right now knows who Mel Brooks is. Okay, but if you are someone who is listening and you're hearing us talk about this man, Mel Brooks, and you don't know who that is, go do yourself a favor and just pick a movie. Yeah. I mean, granted, I don't know if I would just say any movie because they ebb and flow, but...
Well, just... Yeah. Yeah.
If you just search his name and then the first primary movies that pop up under his name, pick one out of that first lot that you see. I guarantee you're going to have a solid time.
Yeah. Yeah. And just, yeah.
Yeah. Find the one that matches what you kind of might be in the mood for, because they kind of hit all kinds of genres, but they are also comedy. So just pick the theme that matches your your aesthetic at the time.
They're very much satire of some things that would be happening in those times too, so they'll pull from that as well. But yeah, no, I've enjoyed all of his movies thus far that I've seen.
Yeah.
I like his style. I like the tomfoolery and over-the-top slapstickiness of some of the situations. And yeah, I recommend it. And hopefully we have him for a few more years.
Yeah, he's up there.
Getting up there, man.
90,
almost 100.
Yeah, he's what, 96, 97? Something like that?
Well, he was old then. Like, I cannot remember a time when Mel Brooks was young.
Right?
Me. Like, I can't. I'm sure if I had to do some real... I don't know when he made it big. He could have already been in his 40s and 50s for all I know. But, like, if you watch History of the World Part 1, he was almost 60 already in that movie. And that was 40 years ago.
Well, it's his big, to my understanding... I don't think I'm wrong in saying this, so someone can fact check me. But to my understanding, his big breakout show was Your Show of Shows, way back when with Sid Caesar and Imogene Coca, Howard Morris, and who's the other one? I got it. Come on, there's a fourth member. There's a fourth member to the group. Damn it. Carl Reiner.
Reiner.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Oh my God, I feel shame.
I was just getting ready to do the Google because I could see the dude's face in my mind, but for some reason, and he was just in the... Anyway,
yeah.
Never mind.
But that was like, you know, he was started writing there, and obviously that built friendships, especially with him and Carl Reiner. They do the 1,000-Year-Old Man and all that stuff, so... That is where I know that was his big breakout moment where it kind of took off, and everything else is history from that point on.
So yeah, that could have been like 50s.
Yeah, that show was like the OG SNL before that, and that was like 20.
That's what I called Carol Burnett.
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
Because hers was sketch comedy and all that. Anyway.
But I think Your Show of Shows was that later in the evening type show, so it was kind of... That's why I would say, in essence, an early SNL.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, unlike
that's fair.
Carol Burnett. But I get where you're going. I got where you're going.
Yeah, what I'm saying. You know what I'm putting down.
Okay, well, now that I've done all the aforementioned recommendations, 2 stories real quick. Yeah. I'm going to throw this one out, and then the other is more of a conversation I want to kind of bring up to you because I didn't know it was a thing. But first of all, I heard... locals around here, and I'm so tired of this bullshit. Okay, I understand that maybe at a certain age, some people are just like, technology, I don't understand it. It's too complicated for me. But there is a way to learn it. You know? Now, me, I hope that over the next 30, 40 years that I have left, maybe 50, maybe 60, who knows? I don't. Oof. But if within that time technology continues to advance, I hope to adapt with it. I'm not going to look at it and be like, oh, God, more technology. Ugh. I'm going to be like, hey, okay, can this benefit me? Let me see what I can do. And I'm talking about basic technology like smartphones and touch screens and things like that. Not AI, chat, GPT, whatever, because I know that's a big topic of discussion today.
Yeah.
In fact, I've even thought about using that to write a story just to see how it would work and see if anybody would know. But I just gave it away.
Just don't turn it into the same teacher, it sounds like, and you'll be okay. When teachers are getting the same papers, it's probably when they started getting, what's going on here? Yeah.
They did a bit on that on South Park, which I thought was pretty clever. So I won't go check that out if you want to. But anyway, the reason I bring this up is because I was at the grocery store, and I don't know why this was difficult. I don't know. The grocery store down near my house, they're not very technology based. They don't have a bunch of newfangled gadgets. It's the basic stuff you see everywhere. And I don't know what they were trying to get this old man to do. He looked like he was in his 60s, 70s, something like that. And they're like, well, you just got to do this and that. And his response was, baby, I'm country. I don't understand all these newfangled technologies around here. I ain't got time for it. And she's like, what are you talking about? If she's telling you just to touch some shit on a screen, this is not hard. Just touch it.
It has words even.
Yeah. I just don't understand all these newfangled gadgets and words on them. What is that? The same shit you've been dealing with from now until, you know?
Yeah.
And then just to say, well, I'm country. This is why people think
it's like,
the people...
Bitch, we're in Tennessee.
But...
So take a look around.
But to say that, I'm country, I don't know... You're reinforcing the fucking stereotype that you are so angry people have about Southern people, that you're all stupid.
Yeah.
You are reinforcing that, making it true, because you're like, I don't understand nothing because I'm country. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Get over it. This is the world you live in now. Okay? Adapt or die. That's natural selection.
Yep.
Okay? Sorry, that might seem harsh, but I'm just saying, you either adapt to it or you're going to be falling behind. And
you could just read the thing. I trust you, man. You can do this.
Yeah, it's not difficult. It will make your life easier in a lot of ways. The technology is meant for that until people use it for nefarious purposes. I'm just covering all my bases here. Yeah. But I'm just saying.
Or to not pay people.
Initially, the idea is to make it easier for us to create a more convenient space. Think about all the things we used to have to do that are not a problem anymore.
I mean, I'm totally okay with bringing back me just handing the person my list of groceries and they get it for me and bring it up and I pay for it. I could bring that back.
But they do that.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
I have to check my own shit out now. They're getting my stuff. They barely do anything in the stores now for me. This is a perfect racket.
In fact, I'm going to even back you up on that because I called bullshit on something the other day because we've been doing that here lately, doing the pickup, make your list, pay for it online, and then go pick it up.
Since the pandemic, sure.
Yeah,
you can order it.
Like we only recently adopted that because I thought it was always the times were out of, like you'd have to order like a day ahead or whatever. And it's like, all right. But then finally, I guess the windows got shorter and they're like, okay, well, you can pick it up today if you want. And I was like, cool. So that's what I'm going to do. So we would set the list, pay for it, and do that. Now, the last time we went, made up this entire list, and sure enough, they were just like, we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have that. And it was like, I don't believe you. Like, just in the back of my head, I just didn't believe it. I was like, this is bullshit. Because the one thing that already bugs me about the whole thing, and this is Kroger, by the way. Yeah, I'm calling them out. I did report this too, mind you. Okay? This is how pissed I was about it. Because not only do I already kind of have a beef with the fact that they select certain items you can't have in the pickup, Like, well, this is in store only. It's like, but why? You know, it's in the store. They're going to be picking it up. I understand how this works because I've been in there when all these fuckers are in the way when I'm trying to shop and they have these big carts with all these crates.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Unloading.
So it was just like, well, we don't have these items, what have you. So, whatever. You got to pick something else. And I thought, you know what? Before I go pick up my order, I'm going to go into the store and I'm going to go look for the sauce that I wanted. Okay, because it was a special sauce. Best for my gut, so it didn't give me heartburn, all that stuff. Yes, right. I'm getting to that age.
Gotta pay attention.
And sure enough, I go to the aisle, and there sits plenty of this sauce. In different flavors, too. Not just the one, but several. And I thought, you said you were out of stock, and you have it. The exact one that I wanted. Amazing. So that meant that you didn't want to look for it. So you're just like, oh, I can't find it. And then you make me pick something else. No. So that's not happening. So I bought the sauce, went and picked up my groceries.
I'm wondering if that's why they started doing that in-store only. Like maybe there's just one section that they have the employees actually pick everything out from the back or something. If it's not back there, they're not going to have their employees wandering the halls doing shopping.
I don't believe that because they're always out there.
I can see a corporation doing some BS like that, though, like to save time. You know, they don't want to pay their employees to be wandering the halls up and down. You just pick it from here. When it's out, and screw it. You know,
I don't believe
Not
that.
expecting you to actually go in. I don't know. Corporations do all sorts of crappy things if they think they'll pay someone less.
Well, true. But it bothered me.
They don't care about your experience. You're going to give them money regardless. You need food.
Yeah. It just bothered me that was a thing that they did. Oh. And I was just like, you've got to be shitting me. I'm paying for this. Why can't you just find me the item that I want as opposed to just keeping your head in the clouds? It was on the bottom shelf. I will say that. But it was clearly there.
Was he like 6'4"?
Clearly. So, I don't know. Be aware.
Yeah, it is obnoxious, though.
Don't, if you use that and they say they're out, don't believe them. Don't always believe them.
You know what, though? You should use, like, well, I don't know if you have it, but, like, Uber Eats sometimes does. Ours has grocery and, Instacart. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a third party, but they're literally going into the store and stuff. So I believe that when they say something's out because they're genuinely taking a picture of the freaking shelf and going, what would you like instead of that? So think of that. It might cost you an extra $10 in a tip, but they'll even bring it to your own freaking house, man. You don't even have to go pick it up.
Yeah, maybe it's a thought. I'll have to think about it. Might be something worth
I
looking
loved
in.
me some Instacart when shit was in its height.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would have delivery times quicker than the grocery stores would. So.
All right. So this is the last thing. I don't want to rush through, but I do want to bring it up. So I'll try to make it. I'll throw it out there like this if you want to go dig into it a little deeper, maybe go watch the video. I watched a new episode of the Gym Position this past week, and they brought up, I didn't know this was a thing. And maybe you tell me if you've heard this before. Did you know that JRPG was derogatory? Because I've said this.
I thought it was just Japanese role-playing.
That's what I thought too. But apparently it was a term that was coined at one point to differentiate a certain type of RPG. And some people thought JRPGs, if it had the J, that it was a garbage game because it was just all this stuff crammed into it, and it didn't need to be that. Coined by who? White people. And
really, I see JRPG and I gravitate more towards it than I do another one because I know it's going to have so much freaking content.
That's where I was confused because I was like, I didn't understand this, so I didn't realize there was negative connotations behind it.
I didn't either.
I can't even remember who the guy was that said it, but he was one of the for some reason I want to gravitate toward Diablo or something. I could be wrong. I could be absolutely way off. But there was a convention. Some guy was talking about the game, asking like they showed a clip of this convention or whatever, where this Japanese, I guess gamer, I'm going to assume that's because I don't know if they were any kind of developer or anything like that. I'm assuming they were just a fan. And they were asking a question to the devs on stage, and then it was just like, Japanese, JRPGs suck. Japanese RPGs suck because they're just blah, 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 blah. And then everybody, it's like as he was tearing into this, all the people on stage, just laughing. Really? Guy who asked the question, his face sunk. Like he was just felt defeated and embarrassed. And it was just like, what is happening? And then they mentioned, I guess, the fallout from that. Devs who were developing the JRPGs in question, how they felt like it was meant to be derogatory. And then over time, mind you, they've gotten over it. And it's just like, yeah, well, whatever. But the fact that it was even at one point considered to be derogatory.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it was mind-blowing. So I would recommend that if you're unaware of that, check out that video because it just, like, I didn't realize it. It didn't.
No clue.
Yeah.
Literally, this is the first I'm hearing of it being, like, taken any other than just what kind of RPG it was.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it was just differentiating between, like, West and East. You know, how we create our role-playing games is kind of different.
Right. And that's kind of how I thought it was being portrayed as well, because there is a significant difference in the way that they are presented.
Yeah.
And I usually see the JRPGs, or what we consider JRPGs, to be, we know they're going to be long, they're going to be detailed, story-oriented. Yeah, just deep, big condensed piece of media that's going to consume 100+ hours of your life. Easy. Yep. Mm-hmm. And maybe not so much with, see, I don't even want to call them regular RPGs.
I don't know, just RPG, you know, or West RPG. I don't know. I never really thought about having to make the difference now, except for just knowing that JRPGs did play so much differently. Like RPGs that, like Skyrim or something like that. Those are also very long, depending on if you really want to immerse yourself in all of the side quests and stories and worlds. But it's usually more like I don't know, more of a first-person kind of experience, or... Yeah, I don't know. I've played enough of both that I know the differences. I don't know if I'm articulating it well.
Yeah.
But I tend to like the JRPGs just a little bit more for my play style.
Sure.
I had no idea.
I didn't either.
I hope I've never offended anyone by saying that. I didn't know. I mean, like, I was ignorantly just calling it the type of a game. Like,
we have used that term very casually.
Life, I feel like.
Yeah, on this very podcast, we've said that very thing so many times.
No one's yelled at us.
No.
So maybe this is, we've moved past it and it's been reclaimed and it's not what it used to be. What did they say? Well, maybe we shouldn't say it here. I'm really curious why it was bad.
Yeah, no, I would recommend just going and checking out the video itself because Stephanie Sterling does a better breakdown of everything to kind of
I'm sure they do,
explain what the context behind it was, the people involved, and like I said, even video footage of the actual incident, I guess, that kicked it all off. And again, it's been so long, and I didn't realize that this was a thing from so long ago that was considered, I guess, in some form problematic. And I was just like, wow, that's, So I don't know what to call him anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm going to continue on.
Yeah. But we'll get canceled if we don't stop.
Okay, well, is it still bad, or were they just telling us the history of how it used to be bad?
It was the history of it, and to my understanding, the way it was presented is that the person who felt offended by it, or where it kind of kicked off and felt like it was a slight against Japanese culture.
I was going to say, was it Japanese people who got upset, or was it Americans who got upset? Okay, that's another big thing I need to pay attention to. Who got upset here? But okay,
no, it was a Japanese developer, and I think it was him and his team, and they have said, or at least according to the video, did state that they have come to just embrace it and just kind of let it doesn't offend them anymore. So
okay,
but. The question was...
Well, I would have never wanted to be offensive. I love your games.
Right. So the question just kind of became, should we stop saying it? Maybe?
I mean, I guess just RPG. I don't know if we really, I guess, need to put a country on it or, you know, a culture or whatever you want to label on it. I don't know.
I don't either. I just kind of felt like it was a sub-genre of a genre.
Yeah, just to kind of call out the differences between, because they are pretty big, I think, the differences. But, you know, I don't want to offend nobody. I just want to play your games because they're good.
Right.
And I hear JRPG and I go, ooh, and I want to look into it more, you know, because I'm like, this could be good.
Right.
I gravitate towards that more than the ones created here.
I agree. So, speaking of which, what have you been playing?
Okay, so I, of course, played more Oxygen Not Included, you guys. I think I'm addicted to just starting it over until it gets hard and then abandoning that colony, because I will get it so far and then my energy and everything just becomes such a mess. And then they get hot and I don't know how to cool down their stations. And then my plants stop growing because things are too hot. And you guys, I don't get it. I don't get it. So I finally went into sandbox mode. I was like, you know what? Maybe this is what people did. And they just played with all the things and see what it did, you know. But like even that takes a bit to kind of set it up so you can get the things the way you want it, you know. So I don't know what to do. I just need more patience, I guess, when I get to the middle. But it's just like, it's hard. I'm going to start over. I feel like I just want to draw or like architect.
Yeah.
Build out the bones of a base or something and get it kind of going. And then once they start to get a little cranky, I'm like, no, you stay here now. And then I move on. Like, don't you get cranky. I'm trying to cool it down, but you're not making enough steel to make the radiant pipes. And we need the radiant pipes because you don't want it to bust because it can't handle extreme hot or cold. You know, so it's your fault. Work faster.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally am just pointing at you to do a thing. I can't do it for you, unfortunately. My god powers can only go so far in the game. I have to make you do it. But I tried the Resident Evil 4 remake demo.
So did
that
I.
Came out. Okay. Well, is that something you were wanting to talk about later?
No, I wanted to talk about it now because that's really all I played this week.
Okay, so I'm assuming you did it on console.
Yes.
What'd you think? We'll start with your thoughts here because mine, I think, might be different, but let's see how your experience went.
It looked gorgeous. I mean, as far as the graphics are concerned, very sharp. Didn't see anything that just looked out of place or glitchy. Right. And I'll give it to Capcom on that all day long. 9 times out of 10, their Resident Evil games always look solid.
Yeah, their engine's pretty good for this, yeah.
And they practically laid us into, which I'm assuming is kind of a very condensed version of this because it felt like they were cutting to the chase pretty quick, It's
you're like rushing the house.
Yeah, it's essentially the very first mission where you get to the cabin or whatever, and then you get attacked by the people, and then you find your way to the larger village, and that's what the demo is. Yeah. But if you've played Resident Evil enough, or Resident Evil 4 enough, I don't know if you have played it as much as I have.
I doubt as much, but I have played it through once. I didn't feel the need to play it more than that. But
so you can already tell where they've kind of expanded on, initially just the main cabin, like where you first come in, because that was what, 2 rooms? Well,
maybe
1 room downstairs and upstairs, and it really wasn't a whole lot to it.
Right. Now, there wasn't like a bunch of doors to go through like they had in here.
They kept it simple enough that it was just like, you're not going to be wandering around in here, so you're just going to go do this.
On the way.
Yeah, and you're out. Now it's a huge, I don't want to say massive, but it's much bigger. It's
a more fleshed out home.
Right.
Yeah, it's a more fleshed out home where it has an upstairs with bedrooms, I would assume. Would have been what it would have been. And then like a little side room in the basement.
Yeah. And then you're upstairs.
There might have been another one too.
No, there was at least an upstairs because that's where you
where you jump
roll out
of.
and go on for that. So you can already tell from that point that it's expanded. But even getting to the village, I kind of felt like they removed
hit those little traps a little bit better, I'll tell you.
Oh yeah.
I got myself stuck.
And So I got attacked a lot. Like even where I knew, I think there was a cabin on the way to the village, and I knew there would be someone in there. Some of the bitch got me off guard, and I was like, "Come on, man!"
Yeah,
and then,
I was looking for bullets.
Yeah,
I was like, son of a, you know.
And then you get to the village, and Jesus Christ, let me tell you what. I guess I'm rusty on playing this game because I did not survive. I have not survived. I continued several times and was just like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I still feel like he feels still pretty heavy.
Yeah.
He still feels real heavy. And I think that's just Capcom in general. I feel when I played the second one and the third one, I kind of, and I'm sure you siblings know what I'm talking about, where it's like if you let off the joystick or W, however you're moving, and they seem to still kind of move just a little smidge afterwards, like, ugh, you know, so it was, learning to turn and stuff is still always kind of a challenge because of how heavy it feels.
Yeah.
So the shooting still kind of felt about the same to me.
That was actually something I wanted to talk about because from a movement perspective, like you were talking about, I did feel the weight, but I also felt like the movement was far better than the original.
Oh, sure.
But yes, when it came to combat, I would be aiming, trying, and then I'd pow, 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 pow.
Over.
And then next thing I know, I've shot 6 bullets and went right by their head. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm aiming. And I would continue to kick myself in the ass because I thought I had them. And then it just everywhere. And I was like, Jesus Christ. So I'm wasting ammo. I'm being overwhelmed.
Yep.
And I understand the scenario. I knew it exactly when I went in. I was like, I know they're going to chase me. I got to get into the house and go up the thing. And just...
They're going to come around from everywhere.
Had the shotgun, had grenades, and I couldn't take that son of a bitch down.
Well, you got further than I did. Siblings, if you tried to play the demo on Steam, it's going to hard error shut down on you as soon as you get out of the cabin. Yeah. I was a little frustrated with that because you jump out the window. So I got that far. I went down the path and where you get to that next car and you just know more is going to come out. I think I downed 2. And then as I tried to head back up that path, I got like this 3D error. It just popped up and just the whole thing shut down. And I was like, well, son of a bitch. I'll try again. Maybe it was just a fluke. And sure as shit, as soon as I hit that same spot, it hard shut down again. And I went, I'm not going to do this again. Clearly, your shit's busted. So just going to say that's not a great look for a PC launch. Just going to say right now for us PC players, I don't know if anyone else has had that trouble. My hardware is definitely can handle it, you know, so I don't feel like it would be that. But at the same spot... So I wasn't able to finish it, unfortunately, because of that. And so hopefully you're fixing that.
Yeah, really.
I tried to look on the Steam page to see, really there's no reviews or anything up. There's some curators that, you know, have played it. I was trying to see if that was was other people talking about this hard shutdown here. Has anyone been able to finish the demo on Steam? But I couldn't find any reviews on there because it wasn't like, I guess... enough people yet, or you just don't review demos. I don't know. But
hey,
yeah, very frustrating that I wasn't able to actually finish the demo because your shit's busted.
No, I get that. I'm honestly surprised no one has. I've seen people on Amazon review shit that hasn't even come out yet just to complain about it. For example,
I don't like the person that's doing the thing or something.
Or they have some beef. Here's the one that I read recently, just to bring it up because I thought it was so funny. Apparently, Paramount is putting out a Star Trek 4K Next Generation movie set. And as I said, it's going to release in April. And I was like, oh, cool. I like 2 of those. And then I scrolled down and 1 review. It's already got 2 stars. I'm like, who the fuck is reviewing this? The guy's like, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Paramount did the same thing with the original movies. They only released 4. And then they turned around and released the entire set on 4K. And you can't trust them. But if you want to, you can. But I'm not going to trust them anymore because they've just deceived me. And I thought, dude, you realize there are only 4 Next Generation movies, correct? And that's what's in this set. So I don't know what more you're expecting.
They were supposed to make 5, it sounds like, damn it. And
I guess.
his 5th movie, or they didn't, or whomever was writing this review.
There was another one that was just like, there's a Superman collection. Same thing. All 4 Superman movies, but it says it's a 5-movie set, which is not wrong, okay? Because they have 2 cuts of part 2 in there. The original theatrical cut and the Richard Donner cut that should have been.
Okay.
Some guy was just like, this is a lie. There's only 4 movies in the set. How dare they lie to me? Just like, dude, are you not?
It's hard, though.
Yeah, it is. It really.
I found most life's problems can be solved. Like, your small problems could be solved by, like, finishing reading the thing. Most of the time it's in there, you know?
Yeah, they don't want to do that.
No, reading's hard.
But yeah, anyway.
But yeah, so, I mean, outside of that, though, I did enjoy getting to use the knife a little bit more because I was out of bullets.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, not having to wait for them to about bite me and get the little prompt was great. So I did use it more than I probably was, than I definitely did originally because we didn't have that option that I can remember. And then kind of played around in the crafting, you know, just to see if there was anything real different there with the layout of the pack or your suitcase or inventory, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I mean, if it worked, I probably would have given it lots of praise because as you said, gorgeous. It definitely felt like they expanded on it, so it felt like a little bit more lived in, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually old. I don't know. I didn't have issues with the first one. I really badly want to see this Ashley nonsense, though.
Yeah,
because if you made her likable, then good job.
Well, one thing
I hated her.
one thing I was kind of surprised at and was curious if they were going to do the same thing, but we actually got to see Hunnigan in an actual cutscene, not just through a radio.
Oh,
you know, so I thought, okay, cool. So are we going to do that? Because to me, that would be a proper way to do it, even though there is a lot of story that they cover within those cutscenes. So it might not work unless they've found a way to kind of condense it.
Well, they did say they expanded on it with when we were reporting on it last week, you know, that there would be a couple of optional side missions or something that you want to do. Maybe that's one of them.
Could be. So
yeah, maybe it was giving us an Easter egg there, or a little hint.
Another thing that I would say that you obviously didn't get to experience was the Chainsaw Man, which was one. I guess I've never paid attention to the design unless they've tweaked something, but it's creepy as shit now because they did this close up when it's coming out, and its eyes are like bulging out and like off centered from its face in this sack. So it's just like, oh shit. What is that? And then I got to see my death, gruesome detail.
You lose your head?
In my back, lifts me up, like Leatherface style.
Ouch.
Ooh, it was rough.
Yeah.
Like I said,
they definitely amped it up.
Yeah, I did not finish this demo, and I continued several times. I kept getting overwhelmed. Like, no matter what I did, I was like, I know I've done this before. I've done this.
But it's been a long time since
been.
That game, you know, was new. I don't know when you played it last, but it's been a long time. We're talking Wii before that.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't remember the last time I played it because I was buying it because I think I got the GameCube version. Then there was the Wii version. I think maybe I bought it for a PlayStation, but I don't want to swear to it.
I know I didn't. I did not. Yeah.
But yeah, it's, oh my God. I want to get back into that groove, man. And then you know what I remembered that I'm not looking forward to?
What's that?
Snakes. You remember when you find snakes in the boxes and then they just snap right at you?
Yeah.
I don't want to see that.
That's not fun. I was a little scared to kick open the couple of them along the way, to be honest, because I was like, ooh, are they doing that? But I didn't get it. I didn't.
No.
But, you know.
But that doesn't mean they're not going to be in there. They're going to sneak them in on me, and I hate
really
that because every time I see it, my back, and I just squirm.
That's how I feel when I have to fight spiders in games. I'm like, no.
I can deal with spiders. I just don't want to deal with snakes. And big snakes are not that one in Resident Evil, which was the first one, or Zero, the big snake.
I never played Zero.
I think it was in Zero. It might have been part 1. It doesn't matter. There was a fucking snake. I just don't like them.
It was not good.
I don't like them.
Yeah.
Anyway, what news do you have? I don't want to talk about snakes anymore.
yeah. So there was a little bit. Now, one that I kind of wanted to mention, we probably don't have a lot of fans of it here, but you just have to come along for my ride sometimes, you guys. You're in my little world for a moment. So Paradox is coming out with 2 new simulation games that actually has me a little excited. The first of which, I should say, is City Skylines 2. So if we have any City Skylines fans here, I thought it was a really great city builder. I never did all of the DLCs that really expanded upon the content, but I know streamers that, made a living off of it. That's what they did, made videos and all this kind of stuff. They're promising to kind of expand upon that more in a second one, which I didn't know that we were going to be getting anymore. But the one that I was kind of surprised, and I've been saying this for many years, why there's never really been any direct competition to this, but a game called Life by You, which looks like to be a direct competition to The Sims, finally. Okay. And why I'm excited is Rod Humble is involved. And if anyone knows Rod Humble, he used to be head honcho at EA for the Sim series. And he brought in 2 and I think 3 and then left. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, back when it used to be really good, he was in charge. He even had his own character in The Sims 2 that would bring you a computer when you moved into the neighborhood. Mr. Humble would come by and do it. He made us himself. So I'm kind of excited about that just because I know their history with sim games is good. Mm-hmm. Rod Humble, having him involved really gives me a hell of a lot more trust in the whole thing. And like I said, I'm just kind of surprised since like 99, 2000. There's never been any real direct competition. Like we've seen Second Life, which that isn't really the same thing. That was more of like an online thing. And some of the, but never. And I've always been wondering why the hell no one's tried to compete. You could read all of the crap we complain about and just implement that in your game and totally overtake it. Yeah. We're crazy. We'll give you money for it. We'll throw it at you. Look how many years of Sims we've bought. Mm-hmm. If you do it right and make it work and stop breaking your game every update, you'll already be scores above EA. Yeah. Like they break their game every new patch. They made it worse than the patch was supposed to be. So like we had an incest bug, guys. Just don't do an incest bug and you'll probably already be better. Yeah. Yeah. Don't be hot for your kids. That's creepy. Yeah. Nobody wants that in their game. Well, you shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
But somebody does.
Yeah, there's... Well, I probably don't even want to give that idea out there. But the trailer I watched, though, I definitely got a little Sims 3 vibes, with maybe an open world. There wasn't a whole lot of gameplay and stuff that I was seeing. But they're supposed to have a bigger showcase on March 29th. So if you're into the simulation game world and want to get a bigger deep dive, that's when they're supposed to be live streaming more information about it. And I'm just excited. I want direct competition to them.
Yeah.
They've been getting to half-ass this series for so long because no one's bothered to really come into the space or probably had the money, really, if we think about it. Paralives is still in the works, but they're just a smaller indie team. So who knows? So I'm a little worried for them because they've put in so much time and effort and everything that I want to see their baby come out. I've supported them for a long time and I want to see it happen. But this was just like a stealth thing. Anyway, competition to EA. I welcome it. If you want to see more about it, March 29th, Paradox is going to have their live stream with a deeper look.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're saying a 2023 release across PC, PS5, and the Series XS. I didn't see anything about last gen. So we'll see. They may not. We might be finally getting to that point where we're moving forward. But this was funny. I'm sure you saw this. Suicide Squad looks like they're delaying that a little bit. So it was supposed to come out in May. I couldn't really find a definitive, but it looks like maybe 2024 or later this year. It seems like they just said kind of delay. So of course we don't know for sure. I was trying to see if there was some real response other than maybe polish or, that same stuff they always tell us, but I mean, we're probably thinking the lackluster response to your showcase might have had something to do with it. I don't know.
I would 100% agree that's what it was. They're just not going to admit it. Because they came out guns a-blazing, no pun intended, being like, look at our game, how awesome is it? Oh! And then people are like, fuck you and your Avengers ass-looking game. Because did we not say that? That was given that vibe, and it was just like, what happened here?
Games of service all over it. Games of service was just really coming at me for it. Now, see, here's the thing, though. Because we've seen some things kind of like this now, and then they rework it, and then it seems to come out as a shell of a game because they tried to, you could tell that the game was built around this thing. They tried to fix it and then omit that thing, and now the game just feels meh. So I don't know what they're reworking. It could just be more polish. I mean, we did see a couple of glitches, who knows, but the timing is definitely sus.
Yeah.
They were very excited. It was a long showcase, for crying out loud, when you have like 15-20 minutes.
Like, you're ready to go.
Yeah, you would think. One would think you've got this much to show off. You thought you were pretty much done, But yeah, I mean, it's not like it's just as easy as turning a switch on and off for some of those features, if that is in fact what they're going back to take out, put in, rework. I don't know. Well, I don't know. If you were excited for it, looks like you're just going to have to wait a little bit longer. I'm going to assume maybe early next year.
Yeah, my excitement for this game dropped after that, and they're just going to have to prove to me that that's not what they're doing, because the moment we heard those things about the Avengers, my anticipation dropped immediately, because it was like, I hear what you're saying, but I also know what you mean.
Yeah.
So I'm not digging.
Not our first rodeo.
Yeah, no. So we're not doing this again, and I'm not. I wanted to be excited for it, especially like I was excited for Gotham Knights.
Sounds fun.
Until that just started to get worse and worse, and then people are like, it's like all these other things, and it's a broken mess, and it was like, well, that's fantastic. So even properties like Batman get shit on now because they can't just take their time and make a good game. They have to just be like, well, what can we do to monetize the shit out of it?
Yeah.
You're not going to get me that way. Like I said, I never paid a dime for the Avengers, and I refuse. And I'm not doing it for this either. So, no.
The story sounded fun. That's why I was upset. Getting to play like the evil, or, well, well, no.
The bad guys. You were rooting for the bad guys.
The bad guys against like the good bad guys. So the premise really did sound like a lot of fun. I just personally, I wish it was executed differently, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see. But anyway, if you were excited, I'm sorry about it. It's just gonna have to be a little bit longer for whatever they're going to do to it, since we don't know. Hey, did you get to check out that PS5 firmware update that happened this week?
I did.
Sounds like there was some pretty good quality of life updates that happened, or more so, I guess, since the VR came out. It sounds like there was a lot of stuff for that too. But the VRR support at 1440, right, the golden resolution. And then I saw that you got better differentiating between your VR games and your, well, what are we calling them? Flat games, regular games, whatever you want to call them, so you can go through your library with a little bit more ease in looking for your stuff. And if you're, one that likes to record your stuff, apparently now you can just talk at your PlayStation to start recording for you, and you can keep playing, and you don't have to stop and do all the button prompts to get it going. You can just say like, hey, PlayStation, start recording, and it shall.
Cool.
Supposedly. I mean, I haven't tried it yet. So, but if you don't want to stop playing with the button prompts, there you go. And they added in new filters to your library, which we were just talking about. And but also to make it easier to access PS4 versus your PS5 versus this. So it sounds like they made your library just all around easier to go through.
See, I'm going to have to look at that. I didn't know that. Or I didn't go and
search through the library and see what was going on there. So
I might have to do that.
Apparently that'll be nicer, and it also should make transferring files from like 4 to 5 and everything a lot easier now as well. And then Wi-Fi transfer. There you go. Have you checked it out? And then they added Discord. I mean, okay, if that, I'm not going to knock it. I don't care one way or the other. But if that's something that you wanted for your PlayStation, now you can.
Yeah, I guess
now
it's cool.
Can.
I signed up for it just to, it's there. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. I guess if you were see, doesn't it have its own chat?
Yeah, you can do your own chat. So I don't really know
figure out what you need Discord on PlayStation for.
Well, to be fair,
help me.
If this works, now granted, I could be way off base, but what if you have a cross-platform game and then you can talk via Discord?
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. We have been doing that more lately. Okay, good call.
Yeah.
Good call. All right. Then there you go. Mm-hmm. So if you're on Sony and all of your friends are on Xbox and you have a cross-platform game, there you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Good call. Very good call. But yeah, any of it, have you messed around with any of it? You're liking it? Not
like the library stuff. A lot of the one big quality of life improvement that they did add, finally, officially, wireless updates to your controller.
Yeah, because finally update your controllers now.
As soon as I turned it on, it was like, hey, you got an update. And I was like, oh, cool. And then turned on the other one. Got an update. Oh, cool. So they're updated. Wi-Fi. Bluetooth. That's what it was. Bluetooth.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because there's a difference, right?
They're probably for sure 100% is. I just...
Anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Guys,
so
I don't know science stuff. I just know it works.
But I'll definitely check out the library. I mean, I guess let me see if they did that on the app, because maybe they did. I'm not going to swear to it, but
a little bit there.
It feels like when they do those things, they kind of sort it through. No, they have not done that on here, or at least it doesn't seem that way, because they're not allowing me to sift through games in any. All right, so I'll just wait until...
You'll just play with it later on the console. Yeah. Oh, and I did not say this, but I feel like I should. The update where you can go, hey, PlayStation, and chat at it, that's for US and UK players. I feel like I should have made sure to put that out there. I don't know why. Maybe we've still got to catch up with other languages. I don't know. But
I guess we should have said that, too, up front when we were talking about daylight savings time. We may have people listening who have no fucking clue what that is.
That's true. You guys get to live your life ignorant of the fact people have to change their clocks twice a year to a different time. Yeah.
You're lucky.
You're lucky. Yeah. Please enjoy that. Don't take it for granted. Like you probably have, because you probably not known any different. But now that you do, go, I'm so happy I don't have to mess with that stuff.
Also,
there you go.
I'm glad we have an international audience. We do.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah,
it's a fact.
Across ponds and oceans and wherever you are. Hello.
Please speak up.
Yeah, if you understand what's going on. But staying with Sony, I'm kind of finding this whole like Sony against the acquisition thing just a little entertaining, because again, when I see like corporations fight each other, I just sit back with popcorn like, please just do it. I don't care. But in the latest of, I want to call it whining, even though it's probably kind of a fair complaint, but that they're worried about Xbox, and it's all about Call of Duty. I tell you what, like they're so worried. It seems like only Call of Duty is the only game that they're super worried about, which I guess it's huge sales.
Sure.
I mean, so I can't blame them, you know. But they're worried about Xbox owning Call of Duty by raising the prices of the game and produce a buggier, low-quality version for the PlayStation. Now, would they do something like that? Probably. I mean...
yeah.
We do skins exclusively and missions exclusively per console. So yeah, corporation's gonna corp, right? So the new documents, though, that they submitted to the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, Sony laid out some hypotheticals that they think could happen with the acquisition, which is now sounding kind of paranoid, but you know, I feel like, see, when I hear a company complain about all this kind of stuff, methinks thou dost protest too much. Is this something that Sony would have done? Sony, are you saying that this is what you would have done had you acquired them? I don't know. When people are freaking out too much about one side or the other, I'm always like, oh, so what would you have done in this situation if that's the only scenario you could possibly picture?
And Sony says, it's not the same.
No. When I get Spider-Man all to myself, that's fair play.
Yeah,
that's
we
fair
own
play.
that.
We own it.
So we can do that. Sorry, they don't own a stake in Marvel.
Right.
They didn't cut deals 20 years ago. They're still lasting today.
Right.
God.
Well, I mean,
anyway,
kind of. But yeah, so it sounds like they're just kind of getting a little more paranoid that Microsoft would make the versions that would be going to PlayStations worse, subpar, to make you kind of want to go to Xbox console to get your more, pristine Call of Duty experience that you're used to. Now, there's no thing we can point at that was like, we're gonna do that, but it sounds like Microsoft still keeps trying to like throw deals like, hey, for 10, 20, just take it for life, stop putting a timer on it. As long as we have this game, it will be offered across all of the platforms. It will be the same price across all of the platforms. Everyone will get the same freaking missions across all of the and forever until Call of Duty no longer exists, if that even happens. I don't know why you want to put a timer on it. That to me is what's shady. Why are you putting a timer on it? But yeah, so they just don't want you to lose confidence in PlayStation being your go-to Call of Duty station. But like I've said, I've seen corporations screw each other over. So I could see, especially with this timer, give them 10, 20 years down the road. Then they're like, oh yeah, now it's not going to be developed for that or whatever. So, but Microsoft did reach out to a few of the outlets, to kind of direct them towards a section in their response, by ensuring parity between Sony as the largest console platform. I like that they put that in there, kind of like a little, which I mean, kind of true, but just say it. Like, listen, Sony, we know you're big dog here. So the proposed remedy will ensure that Call of Duty is made available on equal terms, which they say actually hasn't been the case already for the last 20 years. I don't know. Call of Duty players, you tell me. So to benefit like Xbox, PC, PlayStation, and they went on to say that the proposal includes Sony placing Call of Duty on its own subscription service, PlayStation Plus. Like, you can make your own money off of this. Here you go.
Right.
So it's definitely heating up. I don't know. I'm not really certain this will actually end up going through in the long run, because it sounds like we've got all of these countries involved, and you kind of have to when you're a global company, and especially with Microsoft laying people off. I don't know. I just think it's funny that it's all down to Call of Duty.
Yeah. But
it's like the only game I'm seeing them talk about right now. It's like, are you going to screw with our Call of Duty?
Because it's the one game certain people look forward to every year. If they're still doing yearly, I don't know.
Everybody's got to want something. Sorry, I don't know why I'm all like out of whack there. There we go. But kind of staying on Microsoft-ish, I guess. See how I'm kind of like segueing into all of them. Starfield, we got a longer trailer for. Release date trailer, I guess I should say. September 6th is what we're looking at. So there was like a developer-ish showcase on June 11th, or that will happen on June 11th to give us more of a deeper look. So, like E3-ish, it sounds like. But I did like reading this, that Microsoft actually gave Bethesda the reins on when to release. As in their words, they don't want to cyberpunk this. I hope No Man's Sky is happy they're no longer the
punching bag.
The punching bag, yeah. Like they crawled out and made really great work from the flames, and the ashes that were burned down. But yeah, they literally said cyberpunk this. But I mean, for Bethesda's reputation for already releasing like buggy messes of games, I think it's great that you just let the developer decide instead of the publisher tell you when it should go out the door. Because Bethesda, you always need to probably take just a little extra time. Like we love your games, but yeah, they need a little bit longer in the oven most times. Most times. So yeah, if you want to go check that out, it wasn't a very long trailer release, but then, Todd Howard, chit-chatted a little bit afterwards about some other things and some people that were on Oblivion that is now working on this game as well with Starfield. So, I mean, I've always enjoyed their RPGs. They definitely fully flesh out stories. So I've never been concerned about that. I just want it to work.
Yeah.
Just make sure it works, So we'll see. But E3, I'm starting to wonder, like, what's the point now? Because even Microsoft here, or I should say Xbox, I guess, for this, has confirmed it won't be on the show floor. But it will be showing off some of their games. So, like, they will be co-streaming the thing, but not on the showroom floor. Who's left? Are we done with games at E3? Is it just electronics now at this point?
It's starting to seem that way. I don't think anybody's... all it took was one, and it's like the dominoes fell immediately. It's like, well, if they're not going, I'm not going. Screw you.
Or Reed Pop really effed the pooch here or something, because it seems like some of the replies I had been reading about possibilities as to why like all of these large companies are not returning or doing their own thing seem to be directed to Reed Pop, who is, to my understanding, who organizes at the convention floor, right? So they may have just pissed off enough people that now it's dying off, because I mean, Jeff Keighley's doing a Summer Games Fest now, right? And wasn't he used to be the host of E3, yeah? I
believe so. There used to be a time.
Yeah.
He's done so much. I don't know what he does.
He really has. Because I can remember when Games Fest became a thing 4 years ago, maybe now. 5, maybe. Might be 5. But I don't know. It just, I'm kind of looking through this list here, and I'm just thinking E3 is no longer Christmas for gamers. Like, I know it was never its only focus, but that was what I paid attention to.
Sure.
So,
I mean, the essence is still there, because when E3 comes around, we do still kind of get that, just not from E3 specifically. It's like the publishers will be like, hey, we're going to do a showcase of games. So it's still kind of an essence there, just not E3. I think the whole concept needs to be kind of reframed as like the summer in which we're going to get like that week that we get games. Games week. Or hey, it's Summer of Games. I know that was a title for one of them. So why not that?
Let's do it.
Let's just embrace it.
Well, we'll see who's left. I don't know. I think at this point it may just be dead for that end of it anyway. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of other people who go for the other two out of the E's.
Sure.
But But outside of that, I had a couple of little quick hits that I wanted to mention just because I thought this was fun. Yeah, we'll go to there first. There was a game that came out called Romancylvania, and I think you guys should look at it because it just looks like fun. And I just wanted to shout out this game because it looks like it's a hybrid dating sim with side-scroller platformer mechanics. And you play as lovelorn Dracula, who's been pursuing love for like a century, you guys. And after his last heartbreak, will you find love at first bite? Of course, I had to say it because it was dumb and it was silly. Just laugh with me. So you can fall in love with monsters. Maybe explore Transylvania. Came out on PC March 7th. I don't know if it came on other ones. I was looking at it on Steam and going, oh my God, this is kind of like, I want this in my life, I think.
I feel like I did see that it was on other platforms, like the Switch, maybe. It might be on PlayStation, but I'm not going to swear to that. But I'm almost positive I think it was out on the Switch. So
check it out. I think it's cute, and I think we have listeners that would find that fun. It seems like it was mostly positive reviews if you're the type that wants to look at those things before you make purchases. So I don't know, just the whole hybrid nature of it was what that made me gravitate towards it, because I've never heard of a dating sim platformer. Have you?
No, I have not. I thought that was because the name alone, that's what caught my eye. I was like, Romancylvania? I said, what is, I'm curious. So, and then I watched the trailer. I was like, I might play that. Okay. Doesn't seem like my cup of tea, but I mean, there was something about it. It was just like, I think I might play that.
You just have to, just to see how it would work.
Yeah.
Maybe it sounds better than it is. I don't know, but the concept sounds great. So kudos for at least a different idea that made me... clearly both of our eyes gravitate towards it at some point this week that it released. And I wanted to shout out the Dead Cells Castlevania DLC is out. Go grab that up. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I trust that dev team, so go do it.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I wanted to mention, because we've talked about this kind of throughout its whole cycle, I would say now, for Google Stadia.
Yeah.
Now I know it's dead. I know the streaming gaming side of it as kaput. It's done. Refunds have went out for hardware. But if you recall, the next plan was actually to use the tech offering to like third parties who might be interested in the tech for their own use, say game demos or I think even Peloton was going to use it for a gamified, experience for their classes that they have on there. But it sounds like that's also dead.
It sucks.
One of the offerings was even to like AT&T. They were using it to offer Arkham Knights like with certain packages or something, and non-gaming companies. I mean, the Peloton one doesn't really surprise me because their whole company, I think, is going under too. But it was just a little sad because the tech was cool.
Yeah.
So I was sad to see just the technology itself seem to just die because they couldn't even find third parties who would use it. I don't know. I just thought it was sad. Wanted to mention that it sounds like Stadia in all of its forms is just going to be this blip in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Until maybe way far out in the future when something else takes over or whatever. But just kind of sucked because the tech was cool.
It was.
I was hoping it could find its place somewhere.
It's going to become the video equivalent or video game equivalent of Quibi. What is that? Go look it up. I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, that was like a hot minute also. That was about it. But yeah, that's all I saw that caught my eye that I wanted to chat with you about this week. What you got?
All right. Well, I did find something else I did want to talk about real quick. Two things, matter of fact, real quick. Not that we really need to be sold on this anymore, but there was yet another trailer for Super Mario Brothers because Mario Day.
Yeah, Mario Day. Yeah, March 10th.
Was March 10th, and I didn't want to watch it, but I did anyway because it was my little girl. This actually might be a movie she'll go watch,
yeah.
Because we've talked about it, and she's actually, for context, and I may have mentioned this here, she doesn't watch shit with us. Like when we watched Puss in Boots the other night, we didn't even call her out there because every time we've called her out to watch a movie with us, it's just like, I don't want to watch it. And she's like, all right, fine. And then we're watching it. She comes out halfway in and is like, watching Puss in Boots? I was like, yeah. What's happening? Sit down and watch. She sits down for like 15 minutes, and the next thing you know, she just walks away. And she's like, well, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It catches her attention for so long unless you plant her ass into a seat. Like, she can't escape a theater.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the plan there. She's actually excited about the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. There was a trailer for that. When I got home that day, she was like, Dad, I've got this trailer I want to show you. And I was like, you want to show me?
Yeah, let's do this, kiddo. What you got?
And it was the Ninja Turtles. I was like, she is excited about this? Like, it caught me off guard. I was like, all right, cool. So that's another one I'll get to watch.
Yeah, we'll do it.
But yeah, there was another trailer for that. I mean, like I said, I don't think we need to be sold on this anymore.
I think it looks fun.
Yeah, I'm going to go see it.
Yeah.
We'll probably talk about it when it does come out. I mean, it's going to happen. We're going to see it. I'm sold. You've done it. So no more trailers. That's enough.
Right. Yeah. I don't want any more like spoilery stuff.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this day and age, people spoil their own damn movies and trailers anymore.
Well, if this was a Sony production, it would have been spoiled long before now. Because that's one thing I've been avoiding is toy merchandise, because I see those headlines. It's like, toy merchandise confirms this character. It's like, I don't care. I don't want to know. Just stop.
Stop it. Let me be surprised.
And secondly, there was I forgot about this game coming out, but RoboCop Rogue City.
I almost wrote down notes about that and then didn't last minute in my editing. But yeah, go ahead. I did have that on here at one point.
I watched the trailer for it and I was like, I wasn't sure what I was expecting because they hadn't really told us a lot, or at least maybe I just wasn't paying attention. And it kind of gave me GoldenEye vibes in a sense.
A little bit. Yeah.
So, yeah, I could be in for it. And if they could do a VR mode, holy shit, that would be amazing.
Especially with that first person view. Yeah.
But I'm not going to complain if they don't do that. I'm just saying it from looking at it, like you said, from that perspective, I'm like, that would have been cool.
It lends itself well to the idea. Yeah.
Looks like a bloody good time if you catch my drift, and got the man himself, Peter Weller, back.
Yeah.
So I guess he's down to be RoboCop in digital form from now on.
Right. It's probably a lot easier than physical form these days, for sure.
For sure. So, I'm kind of excited about that. I'm anxious to see the reviews for it when it comes out. When it comes to games, unlike movies, reviews I kind of want to listen to a little bit more.
I will.
You know?
Yeah, I just want to make sure it works. I don't trust y'all anymore.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure it's working and, not spoiling my first experience.
Exactly. So if it's not a broken mess and they say it's a lot of fun, then I might go in and give it a playthrough.
Yeah. That's all I want to know. Does it work?
Mm-hmm. But yes, no, today, headliner, story time. Because I've been doing good at this. Now, planning the show can be a pain sometimes because I just don't know what to talk about. Sometimes there's a plethora of games and content worth pulling from, and it's just like, I don't know where to begin. To make a fair point, the next 4 weeks are planned already. I know exactly what we're talking about over the next 4 weeks, but I had to fill space for today.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit.
I have a feeling I might know about next week.
Maybe, yeah. Now, that kind of led me to the dilemma that I continue to struggle with. What might be interesting enough to talk about this week? And I could just throw my hands up and say, to hell with it, like I've done before. But
we've talked enough.
Those are extremely busy weeks. And I could just sit here and lie to you siblings and say I had a busy week, but I'm not going to lie this time. I did have time. I had time, and what you're about to hear is what I came up with, like it or not. So,
I'm sure we'll love it.
I'm sure the siblings are already well aware what the topic should be.
Oh, yeah.
But
you probably know before I do. No,
this is more for the sake of Lace, because you get to see her excitement and her oohs and ahs.
Because I don't see the thumbnails right away, right? So I'm literally
She's in
ignorant
the
of the whole
dark.
thing. I'm in the dark.
Yeah, always in the dark. And that's a fact, okay? We're not lying to you about that either.
No, I really never know what we're going to talk about for that later.
So to begin our story, we must travel the globe to the one place where most of our tales have their origins, Japan. In 1955, Toru Iwatani.
We're allowed to talk about it, right?
Yeah, we're allowed to talk about it. I think.
Okay. Right.
I feel comfortable about this. I wrote it ahead of time, so I felt like I had a right to talk about it. But if I'm wrong, this whole episode's canceled. We're canceled.
Yeah,
the
we're
whole
done.
thing's done.
Sorry.
But anyway, 1955, Toru Iwatani was born in the Meguro ward of Tokyo. Toru's father happened to be an engineer for the Japan Broadcasting Corporation, and that's something that kind of rubbed off on old Toru. Or he was forced to follow in his father's footsteps. I'm not 100% on that fact. But, sometimes in cultures it's expected. I'm a doctor, you're a doctor, they're a lawyer, you're a lawyer. That's how it works. And you're going to do that.
Family.
You're not going to be a comedian, goddammit. You're going to be a lawyer.
Yeah, funny people. You can't make money.
Right. But in this case, I actually believe Toru was passionate about engineering. For you see, Toru chose to learn about computer programming and design all on his own. He didn't go to school for it. He self-taught himself, aided by the faculties at the Tokai University of Engineering, where he received his engineering degree. So he taught all this stuff, or he learned all this stuff on his own, kind of like what I've done with stuff, and then went to school for it, and then just aced the class. Because he was like, shit, I know this. What are you talking about? I just got a degree for free. No, he didn't. But you know what I mean.
Or he just was able to get it more easily than some. Because
right.
He was interested and passionate.
Now, by age 22, Toru was ready to put that degree to good use, and he joined video game publisher Namco in 1977. Now, at this point in time, Namco had never developed their own video game in-house. They had only been publishing titles from other developers. However, Namco wanted in on that action, They saw that video games were just taking off and just people were making money, and it was like, well, we need to make a game, To hell with making money for other people, let's do it ourselves. So they immediately signed Toru to this new video game development division. But Toru wasn't really kind of wanting to do that, He was like, you know what I really want to do? Make a pinball machine. Now, to some people that may seem ludicrous, but you don't know him. I don't know him.
I don't. No.
If that was
I don't know his life.
Yeah, if that was his dream, goddammit, he has a right to live it.
Mm-hmm. You do you, man.
He just wanted to make a pinball machine. But Namco said, well, you see, there's a problem. There's some patent rights issues, and we can't necessarily do that. So, if you could just do this one thing, this video game thing, maybe we could work that other thing out. But we just can't do pinball.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. But
that's hard to sell to people's homes. Yeah.
But as an olive branch, if you will, they kind of say, well, what if you could make a video game that's pinball? You know, if you could do that, then there you go. We can just do the thing.
We can both be happy.
Right. You make us a video game. You get to make pinball. Boom. Yeah. It's a novel concept.
Look at this coming together.
And do you know what Toru said? Shochi shimashita. Or
which is
challenge accepted. If my Japanese is incorrect, then I'm sorry, but I'm still learning. But I think that's about what it is. So kiss my ass if I'm wrong. Anyway.
You tried.
I did. I'm working on it. I'm learning every week. Not as at the frequency I should be, but I'm trying, and it's sticking in there a lot better.
There you go.
Now, Toru was influenced by the game Breakout, which was, in fact, influenced by Pong. So it's, hey, double ripoff. Right. If it wasn't clear, there wasn't much video game, okay? No. There wasn't much video games were capable of in the 70s, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Using the idea of pinball and just going boop, 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 boop. That's about as good as they got. Mm-hmm. And integrating that with the idea of Breakout seemed like, hey, I think we could do that. So Toru and fellow game designer Shigechi Ishimura, I nailed that, programmed a game featuring a paddle that was controlled by a knob, with the goal of bouncing. Season 2 is coming back, baby. I'm excited.
Oh my god!
Sorry.
I didn't watch the first one. I couldn't make myself do it.
I loved it. Anyway, it was controlled by a knob that was with the goal of bouncing a ball around the play area to destroy bricks, pop bumpers, and other pinball-related structures. Now, when that was released in 1978, the game would be known as Kumanbachi, which is Japanese for carpenter bee. Obviously, that name wasn't going to fly stateside, and I don't mean that as a pun, because carpenter bees fly. No, it was renamed GB. GB, like is in, not letters, G, GB.
Like G-E-E?
Yeah,
GB?
Yeah, GB, like the Bee Gees, but backwards.
GB.
Yeah. GB. Okay. That was what it was renamed when it was ported stateside by our favorite, Gremlin Industries.
Oh, yay.
That's Frank Fogelberg? Nope. Fogelstein? Nope.
I don't know. Is this when I started singing CCR?
Something.
Last time. I was like,
back when I was a little boy, gotta do the backward dam. Why is his voice like that?
I don't know, but it's amazing. I love it. I don't know why.
Big
wheels keep on toining.
Mary, keep on boining. It's so Southern. Anyway.
It's great.
Georgia Southern. The game was a decent success. We got off on such a tangent. The game was such a decent success, but not the success Namco wanted. Okay, because at the time, market earnings were falling below expectations. That's the word I was looking for.
Mm-hmm. Well, both, I guess.
Now, I would explain the details about what the market earnings falling below expectations meant, but I'm not sure what the hell it meant. I looked over it. Okay? Now, the one thing I did understand was video game. And that was...
I know those words.
I know that word. What happened is that apparently Tatao's Space Invaders game released about the same time, and that was the game people wanted to play. So it was just like, not that GB was a failure, it just, people wanted that game. It's like, this was fun. Yeah, if that one, if people are over there playing that one, I can't play Space Invaders. I guess I'll come over and play this Carpenter Bee game, but I kind of want that game, you know?
Yeah.
So you just kind of stick with what you got until you can wait your turn, and then you can jump on Space Invaders.
Yep.
But like I said, it wasn't a failure. It actually had a follow-up game called Bomb Bee that came out the next year. I know, such great titles. And then the next year, it got a conversion kit. Well, actually, the same year as Bomb Bee, it had a conversion kit sequel called Cutie Q. Huh? You get that CCR? It's coming back, Susie Q, Cutie Q. I'm not joking around. Anyway, while Toru did not develop Cutie Q, he did design character sprites in the game. Oh. And what's interesting about those is they're a little familiar. One was a pink ghost known as a Minimon. The other was a small, yellow, two-legged creature called, wait for it, Walkman.
Ooh, because he had the legs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lawsuit waiting to happen in there somewhere, I'm telling you. And it's not the way you're thinking.
Dead now.
Yeah, because that's just...
Walkman is listening. What? My brain.
Only us old people remember Walkman, am I right? Am I right? Because that's what they say, we're just old now.
Crossed into that zone.
Yeah. Anyway, as Toru developed these games, they continued to be overlooked. You know, it kind of does a number on your morale. You're just like, what am I doing wrong here?
Yeah.
So he decided to look at the market where it stood at the turn of the decade, and he realized two things. One, games were becoming increasingly violent in nature. Now, obviously there weren't any Mortal Kombat type games in 1980. So the question is, what did he mean by this specifically? Well, he was looking at the design aesthetic of video games overall. Asteroid, Space Invaders, Galaxian, Combat, Space War, Human Cannonball. See where I'm going?
Yeah.
Simple strategy games were out of style. None of these games had character. Players were put in control of a machine or a device and told to make things go boom. Boom, 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 boom. Kill, 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 boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Pew, pew.
Yep, pew, pew. So that realization led to the question, why? Which led to a second realization, that the games were being tailor-made for those playing them the most. Men. Oh, Jesus Christ. This group of people, men, ugh, gross. Toru saw this as an opportunity to shake things up and corner a portion of the market that didn't seem to know it was absent. No one was thinking about this untapped market.
Yeah.
And so he was like, well, what kind of game could he develop that could possibly have a memorable character and appeal to women? So he just spent weeks brainstorming this idea until...
That's going to be hard to find one for our lady brains.
Right? He spent weeks brainstorming the idea until one fateful day presented him with the answer. Pizza. Pizza was the answer to everything, for you see, pizza not only gave shape to Toru's main character, but also created the inspiration for the game. Not one game on the market featured a character whose sole purpose was eating. So why not that?
That's what we like to do.
And I did want to bring that up. So while I don't think it was meant to reflect anything negative toward women, I can see where you could be like, he kind of did say, women like to eat, don't they? So
I like to cook it.
Why don't we just do a game because women love to snack, women love to eat, and
he's not wrong. I like to snack.
I get it. I want to snack more than I do because sometimes you just have to be like, no, I don't need it. I
never need it, but it's so much fun.
It is. It's so amazing. So again, I'm not 100% sure that it was meant like that, but I can see where it does look like that. Like he's just saying all women do is eat, and this is a game I'm going to make for them where they just eat all the time.
I mean, I don't know his life again. I don't know what women were in his life. I don't know.
So it was at least different enough as opposed to just games going bang, 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 bang. But again, that's just my opinion. I don't know. Mm-hmm. He could have been a very sexist individual. Sure. I don't think he was, but he could be. Anyway, using the Walkman and Minimons as inspiration to sprites for his new game, Toru worked to redesign these characters into cute, colorful characters that would be appealing not just to women, but maybe couples. You know, you just like, we still want to kind of get the men in there, but, you know, it's really for the women. But if we can get the men in there too, that's two, man. We're hitting them all. So he had noted the placement of the other man games and thought that having a larger, wider appeal beyond women could be a good idea.
Sure.
And since the concept of the game was essentially eating, he designed the game to be simple but strategic. Start the first level, finish it with ease. Second one's still not so bad. And then the farther in you get, the more challenging it becomes, and you got to avoid ghosts who want your soul because you're eating and you're having a heart attack. That's what the game is all about. You eat too damn much, you have a heart attack.
Just a PSA.
Yeah, Pac-Man's got high cholesterol. He's having a heart attack. He's having a stroke.
It's all the pizza. But he's trying to eat some fruit.
He was trying.
That's where,
Now, they don't actually, or at least I don't think the ghosts take your soul. But again, this is just, I've never done deep dives on the ghosts, and they apparently have a backstory. But I'm not going to.
And names.
But we're going to get into that. Okay. Because speaking of these ghosts, now Namco president Masaya Nakamura requested that the ghosts only be red, which is in direct opposition to what Toru's concept was of these characters. He thought each one should be colored differently and have unique personalities that translated into a gameplay mechanic. And if you're surprised by that, let me explain to something that I was never aware of. How I was never aware of it after all this time is beyond me. I knew there was something, but I didn't realize it was this. Okay? So buckle up if you don't know this. I'm about to blow your mind.
Okay, I'm ready.
The red ghost, dubbed Shadow, will always chase your protagonist. The pink ghost, dubbed Speedy, will always attempt to get ahead. The light blue ghost, dubbed Bashful, uses what is described as a more complicated strategy to close in on the protagonist. And finally, the orange ghost, dubbed Pokey, alternates between chasing and running away. Which kind of makes me wonder why that one wasn't bashful. Kind of feels like that would be...
Ha! Oh no!
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Ultimately, those names wouldn't matter, at least not to those of us stateside, which explains a lot, because we got way different names.
Yeah, like Blinky and Inky or something like that.
Now, continuing with the theme of eating, Toru decided to call this creation Pakkuman, a.k.a. Pakkuman. Now, the name was derived from the term paku paku, which, follow me here, to my Japanese understanding, means heartily eating. However, heartily eating, like eating, heartily eating, paku paku. Every other single goddamn version of the story had a variation on this term and what it means. So if you're like, well, that's not what I've heard, I'm telling you what I have personally learned through my studies of Japanese, and this is what I'm sticking to. Paku paku means heartily eating. That is what I was taught on my lessons.
Then I will trust that.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know where everybody else is coming up with theirs, whether they're using Google Translate or whatever to get their shit. But this is what I was...
Or turns of phrases that have changed over the years, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Again, I'm telling you my understanding of it through an actual lesson.
Yeah.
Like they gave me the word...
But it makes sense.
The term. Yes, it does. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So do not at me and be like, you're wrong. Telling you what I learned. Okay?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, as this new game, Pakkuman, was set to make its way stateside, someone with some amazing foresight suggested a name change. Now, while I have no specifics on who this person was, someone knew the title was just waiting to be vandalized and turned into Pakkuman.
Oh, for sure.
Now,
scratch just a little bit of that pee out.
I have never heard that said aloud. And now it has been said aloud. You have heard Pakkuman has become Pakkuman. And let us be the first podcast to have ever said the term aloud as opposed to dancing around it. Because I could have been like, you know what I'm talking about, huh?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say, huh? Because it says puck and there's another word in there. Now, if I'm wrong, if there's another podcast out there, someone prove it. Because I have never heard it said aloud, and I have now. I've said it twice. I'll say it again if I have to, but I'm not going to.
My first experience.
Yep. Just makes you feel good because you heard it. Be like, man,
I was here.
See, no PG-13.
I think we've crossed into R.
We have.
We've said it more than twice.
I don't care. The name Pac-Man was suggested by Namco president Masaya Nakamura to be used as the Americanized title of the game when it was released in 1990. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Or is it herstory?
But we can go on, because we're gonna. Question becomes, some may ask, did the game in fact appeal to women, as Toru had hoped? Of course it did. We wouldn't be talking about it otherwise. Because the other games sucked, apparently. Or no, they were fine.
Really
they were fine.
did.
They just didn't find their audience. But this? Oh, shit. No, Toru's assessment of women wasn't that far-fetched. They love to eat, baby.
Yeah, we do.
But women weren't the only ones clamoring for Pac-Man. Everyone wanted some Pac-Man.
Uh-oh.
The game made over. Think about this. $1 billion in quarters its first year.
Oh, my God. And then think of the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 50 years ago?
Well, yeah. Well, no. I mean, it's 40. I'm not that old. Come on.
I always said 70s.
1980.
Like, oh.
We started in the 70s. We transitioned to 80s. Pac-Man
okay,
came
then.
out right at 80.
Yeah, okay. Then yes.
So 40 years. So yes. $1 billion in quarters.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's insane.
That is crazy.
And like with everything that kids become obsessed with, parents, for some reason, got a little paranoid about this thing because it was making all this money. It was this big thing that was happening, and parents were scared. And they said, "Well, we've got to ban Pac-Man, right?" And yes, you heard that. You heard that right. Yes, some parents were frightened of the popularity of this little round yellow ball. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So much so that towns across the country passed statutes to regulate and or restrict the video games. Even more specific, if you want to get into some stupid-ass details, Des Plaines, Illinois banned people under the age of 21 from playing.
It actually is Des Plaines. I
was trying to be.
I actually am pretty close to there, and I you know why? I was made fun of when I first moved up here by saying Des Plaines, and it's just traumatized me ever since.
Okay, well,
so
you know what?
It is Des Plaines.
If there's someone from Des Plaines, Illinois, listening, I said it right this time. I didn't know. I was trying to be fancy because sometimes people get like it's not pronounced that way. We've got a town down here, several, where there's always two Lancaster or Lancaster. Lancaster. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah. Sorry, I just could see the angry tweets already.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So yes, people in Des Plaines, Illinois, banned people. And this is, you can complain about your name. This is what you people did. Banned people under the age of 21 from playing video games unless accompanied by a parent. 21.
Now they have casinos, but go ahead.
Even more extreme was the town of Marshfield. Did I say that right? Marshfield, Massachusetts.
I don't know about them.
They banned video games outright.
What?
Yeah.
What is wrong with humans?
Exactly. What were they afraid of?
I don't know. And like how we still continually do it all of this time later. Like, it's just hilarious to me.
This was the simplest, most unoffensive game ever. At least I thought it was. So what were they afraid of? Well, let me tell you. The fever. Pac-Man fever. They wanted more Pac-Man in their lives. And yes, the game became a phenomenon unlike the world had ever seen. Because they wanted more Pac-Man. There were home console ports. Merchandise like hats, t-shirts, mugs, stickers, lunchboxes, board games. Did you see that game? Holy shit, I remember it as a kid. I didn't know how to play it, but I remember it because it was a little plastic Pac-Man and you just ate that's all you wanted to do. The hell with the game. It's kind of like Mousetrap. You didn't play Mousetrap. You just put the shit together and watched the Rube Goldberg do his thing.
You really did.
There was Pac-Man cereal, Saturday morning cartoons. And yes, even a song called Pac-Man Fever. It was a juggernaut. And that was only here in America. In Japan, it was being outperformed by Galaxian of all games. Okay?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, by 1981, approximately 250 million games of Pac-Man were being played in the U.S. each week. On 100,000 Pac-Man machines. Wow. And in that same year, oh boy, women came back with a vengeance because
we want our games back.
Miss Pac-Man made her way into arcades and became even more popular. She surpassed the man. Some have even said she has the superior game. And you know what? I agree.
Well, we are in Women's History Month, so yeah, she had the better game.
Now, I feel like we have spoken, and I really had to do, I had to stop here because I wanted to dig deep into the lore of Miss Pac-Man, but I feel like we've talked about that once before because there were lawsuits involved. Because there was to kind of give you a quick TLDR, because I don't want to get into it too deep, the game itself was a conversion kit. It was designed by this group who had been doing conversion kits for another game illegally, I don't want to say illegally. There was some confusion about the practice of converting games and doing what they were doing, and Atari got mad. Atari didn't like that. You know, Atari was like, we're gonna sue you. But instead, they saw the potential in hiring these people.
Oh, yes, I think you did do a story time on that. Yeah.
They saw potential in hiring these people and said, okay, well, I tell you what, you make these conversion kits for us, we make money, we give you money for that, and we all win. So then they kind of took the Miss Pac-Man idea and then made it official through them. But there, like I said, there was a whole deep dive into it that I know we did in another episode.
Not illegally, and I pay you. How's
that? Yeah. So that's where she came into play. Now from there, more spin-off titles. We got Junior Pac-Man, Super Pac-Man, Baby Pac-Man. They all made their ways into arcades. The characters were soon redesigned with limbs. When he started in his very first platform game, Pac-Land. And these were only a handful of titles that were released in the character's first few years of existence. Many more variations and takes on the character have been produced over his 40-year lifespan. He has been a maze runner, platform hero, and even a Smash Brothers brawler.
Nice.
He has become the mascot for Namco and is probably one of the most, if not the most recognized video game character in history. Would you agree?
I was going to say, because
you can't, you know what it is.
I feel like even kids these days would know who Pac-Man is, right?
You would think.
I would think, but I don't want to assume, but I'm sure there are some good parents out there who directed them towards the ways of old.
Now, during this boom of popularity, one may have forgotten about Pac-Man's creator, Toru Iwatani. We kind of left him in the dust once his game kind of took off.
Yeah.
The game
overtook him.
Huh?
overtook him.
Mm-hmm. The game's success actually pushed Toru up the ranks in Namco, eventually becoming the head of administration in the company. While Toru didn't receive any extra bonuses or royalties from the game, some have pushed a narrative that he left the company angry, that he was just done with Namco. He's like, how dare they not compensate me for the creation I have made them?
Well,
however, the man himself has come forward and said, no, that's not what happened at all. I mean, he got a promotion, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I would hope so.
They promoted him, which means he got more money in his pocket every month or cycle or whatever.
It was going to be pinball. Do you remember?
Yeah. So I kind of feel like the promotion was kind of a good, appropriate attaboy, because they were like,
if he doesn't feel screwed, that's really all that matters.
Exactly. Yeah. So he said that that was not the case. So he continued to design and produce other arcade titles such as Rally X, Pole Position, Time Crisis, Galaga, and his personal favorite, which I have never heard of, Libble Rabble. Have you ever heard of Libble Rabble? Whoa, I'm so tired of these fucking vehicles down my road. Whoa.
Oh, I was wondering what you were doing. I was like,
I hear them loud. I don't know how much any of you can hear them. I just hear them, and they sound so loud. Anyway, Libble Rabble. I don't know what this is, but if you want to check it out, it is actually available on various platforms right now, like the Nintendo Switch and Steam and whatever else. So if you want to check it out,
just looking it up, it's a 1983 puzzle arcade video game.
Mm-hmm. It looked interesting. I don't know if I would play it, but it looked interesting.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that I would have.
Yeah. Now, Toru left Namco in 2007 to lecture at Tokyo Polytechnic University. However, he did develop Pac-Man Championship Edition that same year, and then declared that would be his last game ever. He's like his swan song. He was like, I did Pac-Man one last time, and I'm good. Okay. In 2010, Toru received the Guinness World Record for the most coin-operated arcade machines installed worldwide. 293,822.
Wow.
Yeah. And in 2015, he was even seen as an arcade repairman in the movie Pixels, as opposed to playing himself, which went to actor Dennis Akiyama. He's not an actor, so that's understandable.
Right, I was going to say probably, yeah.
But
that's fun. I didn't know that they put him in there. Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
So
that's really sweet.
A little Easter egg next. If you watch Pixels, I think I've seen it once. I don't need to see it again.
I never did. No, but like I know the premise and everything.
You're probably missing a bullet. It's fine. If you love that movie, more power to you. I'm not judging you.
Gotta like something.
It's just not my cup of tea. Anyway, it's a true marvel that Pac-Man did not fall during the crash of 1983, if you think about it.
Yeah.
The character has endured longer than anyone could have imagined. Okay? It is a testament to the fairly simple design, showing us that not all games have to be overcomplicated. All we need them to be is fun.
Love it. Love it. I'm telling you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, congratulations, Toru.
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Toru.
I'll try to say it correctly.
It's okay.
But yeah, that's fun. That was fun. And I guess that's our show. Thanks for hanging in there, siblings. You can hit us up sometime on Twitter, maybe for a little bit longer. I don't know how much longer. At Super Mega Crash, or you can go to Instagram to view the weekly icon art Steven puts his time and love into. You can also send an email to supermegacrash@gmail.com and support the show by liking and leaving reviews on your preferred podcast app, and even going to patreon.com/pencil and paper productions. If you want more than just podcasting, go over to youtube.com/pencil and paper productions for more. And I think I'm starting to suck at Discord again. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
But you should join it. And the links are in the description down below. And come on over and chat with us. And yeah.
Just add her every time you send a message. Just be like, Lace, I'm talking to you.
I know. I forget about it for like 2 or 3 days, and then I'll be in there for like the rest of the week, and then I forget about it for 2 or 3 days. It's my brain, guys. Sorry. It's what it is. But thank you for listening. I am Lacey Finley.
And I'm Stephen White.
And you can join us again next time, Super Mega Crash siblings. But until then,
game on.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.